Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be something a bit different. I am currently working on a project, as I like to call it, and basically in this project what I'm doing is going to be filming a lot of videos based around inexpensive and kind of less dominant brands in the whole makeup industry, and I just want to test them just to see whether actually price does reflect the quality of products, kind of go through a lot of the products that they have in their brand and whether or not it works just as well as drugstore, or maybe if it's lucky enough even high end. So today I'm going to be trying Poundland's makeup, and that is pretty much every product in their store is £1. I've made the mistake of going in there before and asking how much things are. Very embarrassing time for me. So if you're interested on how well these products perform, then please continue watching. So the first thing I'm going to try today is the Makeup Gallery foundation sponge with a handle. For the other products I am going to use my own brushes because they kind of had limited brushes in there, but I'm going to use this to apply the Makeup Gallery Long Lasting Foundation. Now this claims to have a natural long lasting foundation with a flawless matte finish. It has vitamin E and UVA filters for added protection. Now when it comes to foundations, my personal preference is something that's very medium to full coverage. I like it to be matte, semi-matte, nothing too dewy. I've just got this little guy wet because I didn't know whether you're meant to use it dry or wet, and to be quite honest, just wetting it hasn't really done too much. It hasn't expanded like a normal beauty blender would. So in the foundation you get 13 mils of if you guys have just seen that come out, that flew out like a bat out of hell. So it is not really going anywhere. It's not too runny or anything like this. It has quite a moussey formula, or texture should I say, and this is what this little guy looks like. What I'm going to do is just pop this onto my skin. The colour is pretty good, and if you guys are wondering, I'm currently NC 25 in MAC. Maybe just, it depends really if I've tanned, but my skin without tan is NC 25. So I'm just gonna start by, oh my god, this is already going horrendous. This sponge is doing nothing but pushing product in like around the skin. And then what I'm going to do is just use one of my normal brushes just to go over it. This is so bad. In terms of kind of the first application with my friend here, it hasn't really done much. It's just kind of worked as a BB cream. I don't know if you guys can see any different. Definitely hasn't oxidized, which is good. But what I'm going to do is just to see if the coverage is buildable. Again, I'm just going to apply the rest of this onto my skin. I'm just using like a standard flat top kabuki brush to do this. And okay, we're getting a bit more coverage this time. So far it's giving relatively good coverage. Again, it's definitely a natural finish, so they're not lying when it comes to that. It's quite watery. I'm not sure if this is a water-based, yeah, it's a water-based foundation. So it will hydrate your skin. It is giving coverage, it's taking away like redness and stuff like that. Now the one thing about this foundation as well is that as you are using the brush, it is definitely leaving brush streaks, which is something that my other foundations do not do. So perhaps maybe it would work better with a beauty blender. So next I'm going to conceal all of my imperfections and under my eyes, and this is one of the classic I can't even remember what I was going to say. Kind of like clicky concealer. I'm not really too sure how that was going to come out. But this is just then Makeup Gallery Hide and Chic, no idea, concealer, and this is in the shade of Ivory. Now one thing I will notice with Poundland is that actually they do cater to quite a lot of skin tones, so they seem to have put some effort into that. So when I think of a concealer, I want it to give, again, pretty relatively good coverage. I don't want it to crease on my skin, and I also want it to blend in nicely. And again, I'm just going to use the same flat top kabuki brush. To be quite honest, I probably should have got some brushes But in my personal opinion, I feel like I've got brushes that do the exact same thing, so it's probably worth trying them out. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this concealer actually isn't too bad. Covering everything quite nicely actually. The only thing is I wish I kind of went up a few shades in terms of colour because a bit pale. So next I'm going to move on to the Makeup Gallery Smoothly Does It pressed powder. I will admit I do think the packaging on this is actually really quite nice and nifty. It reminds me a lot of the MUA packaging, and I'm just going to take this on an e.l.f. powder brush. So with my powders I tend to like it quite smooth, nothing's too patchy, it's not too cakey or anything like that. Actually, this is not doing too bad of a job. I'm not gonna lie, I do expect with some more inexpensive makeup to kind of separate on the face, but so far this has done nothing, and it has a, I can smell talc in there. I can smell baby talc. Baby powder even. So next I'm going to move on to bronzer. This is the Makeup Gallery Good to Glow matte bronzer in the shade of Matte Light. Anyway, this is what it looks like. This is pretty orange, I'm not gonna lie. To be quite honest though, with a bronzer I like something that's slightly ashy, not as ashy as a contour colour, but slightly a bit more deep and again ashy than something that's quite warm and orange. Again, I'm not contouring or anything like that, I'm just literally warming up the skin. Now, I didn't get a blush. The simple reason that I rarely ever wear blush, and this kind of can double up as a blush. So now that's pretty done. I'm pretty happy with the result. Again, I can see quite a powdery finish kind of advancing on my face. So next I'm going to go to highlight, and this is the Good to Glow highlighting powder. Same packaging as the bronzer and the powder. This one's in the shade of Pearl Shimmer, and this was the only one that was there, so I don't know if they have any more colours. So I'm just going to take it with a fan brush that looks like this. Now, if I'm honest, the payoff on this isn't brilliant. It's a very natural highlight. Okay, so this is not really doing anything, but don't worry, I have a backup plan. So I don't really think you can see this on camera, but it is giving me kind of a real, oh, I nearly dipped it in that then. Whoa. So it's pretty nice, but I am going to mix it actually with one of their eyeshadows, and this is their, look how cute this is. It's one of their eyeshadows in the shade of Pink Champagne, and it's slightly more, oh, you little shit. It's slightly, well, it's much more pale actually on camera, but in person it doesn't seem as pale. So I'm just going to take this actually on a different brush, and this is the Real Techniques one, and I'm just going to dab this in because this seems a bit more pigmented actually. Much better, there you go. So this for me is quite a big miss, just because I don't like the colour of it, and just again my personal preference, but I also feel like it doesn't really give you too much of a highlight. You have to put quite a lot on to achieve the highlighted look, and it just adds to the powderiness. So far this is the skin. Ignore these little bumps, they're vile. So now I'm going to move on to the eyebrows, and this is the Take a Brow eye pencil in the shade of Blonde. Now they did have a darker one, but it just looked like it would be too dark for my eyebrows. So yeah, I've heard a few comments that actually the top is pretty sharp and it feels almost like a pencil, but if you literally just scribble this into the palm of your hand or somewhere that's quite, what's the word, warm, then it will eventually melt it down so that it's not as sharp. So it's got quite a waxy feel to it, but nothing too waxy. And the colour suits me fine. Oh, seems pretty good so far. And the only thing is, I probably should have got the dark one because I like to do the end of my eyebrows slightly darker, and I don't know why. There's the first one. Colour wise, I mean, it's not great. I feel like it has slight yellowy, like greeny undertone to it, which is a bit strange, but to be fair I did pick up the blonde one, so I probably should have got the darker one and maybe just blended it a bit more. But so far so good. It has pretty good pigment. It's keeping my eyebrow hairs quite nice and what's the word, together. But I quite like this. I really like the texture of it actually. And I quite like eyebrow products to be quite waxy because it keeps my eyebrows in shape. Yeah. Oh my god, I look like Kim Kardashian when she went to that awards ceremony or something and like she had no idea. To start the eyes, I'm actually going to go back into their bronzer, and I'm just going to pick this up on a shader, a blending brush, sorry, and this is the MAC 217, so of course it isn't Poundland, but blending brushes do the same thing, and they didn't have any available, or not that I could see. So I'm going to do a really light dusting of this just as my transition shade. I don't like this product for a bronzer, in my personal opinion, but I feel like this is a pretty good eyeshadow colour. Okay, so then I'm going to take one of their eyeshadows, and these, oh god, these are just so cute. And this eyeshadow is in the shade of Cappuccino, and it's pretty, what's the word? It's like a cool toned mauve colour. Let's just try this, and again, I'm picking it up on the same brush. Just popping this into the outer V. Again, nothing revolutionary with kind of the makeup look I'm going for. I just wanted to test them out. Pigmentation is okay, they're nothing kind of like Makeup Geek or anything like that. But Cappuccino is a matte colour and it's applying really nicely, it's blending very well. Next I'm going to take this eyeshadow called Bronze, and this is really pretty actually. It's quite metallic foil looking. Pick this up with a synthetic brush, and whoa, the pigmentation on this is crazy. And I'm just going to pop this all over the eye. Oh, hello sister. Very buttery, but the only thing I'm concerned about again is just the fact that when I blend it, is it going to go all away? So far so good. And then I'm also going to take that just underneath the lower lash line as well. And then in the inner corner, but oh my god. In the inner corner I'm going to use that pink champagne colour that we originally used for a highlight just to lighten up the area. Okay, so now the eyes are done. I did originally buy a black liquid liner, but the only thing is it stung my eyes so bad. And I thought I didn't want to test that out because it'll just ruin everything. But I did try their Makeup Gallery Chick Flick eyeliner in the shade of Gold Glitz. So that is the liner. Now I have popped on some mascara. This is just a L'Oreal Miss Manga mascara because, again, same principle with the liner. It stung my eyes and I really just did not want to kind of try that again because it was very irritating. But so far this liner is brilliant. It's like dried so nicely and it just looks so pretty against the other colours. So that was the eyes done, and then I did apply some false lashes which actually look like spider legs on camera. These are not from Poundland, they are from Eyelure I do believe, but they didn't have any false eyelashes, and this is just something I do on my pretty much my makeup routine anyway, so you can skip this bit if you don't want to apply false eyelashes. So lastly I am going to go to the lips, and I'm going pretty nude, and this is the Shine On Intense Colour and Shine Lip Gloss, and this is in the shade of Nice and Nude 1. Now for me personally, lip glosses, I'm not too fussed whether they're too runny or too sticky. I quite like the fact that they are quite sticky because it does make your lips feel a lot bigger. So you've just got the standard like doe foot applicator with this. Okay, so it is very sticky, but the only thing with that is it makes it just so much more difficult to apply. And this here is the finished look. The lips are quite sticky. Don't know if you can see that. But I really, do you know, I'm really surprised with this makeup. I'm surprised with the quality of it. And for £1 each, I just think it's so like exceptionally cheap. And the quality of this brand is just absolutely gorgeous. It goes to show that in this case scenario, that actually price does not reflect the quality of everything. And yeah, so I really do like this brand. I will definitely be keeping this stuff and using it, in my daily routines because I do love it. There are a few products that again are misses for me, but that's pretty much the same with every brand. And if you have any sort of brands you want me to try in the UK or maybe even the USA as well. Write them down below and I'll certainly look into trying them. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video and I shall see you next time.